Hey, Shalom, Yeshua. I want to start off souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kodash. Double honor to the apostles of GMS and honors to brothers doing the work in truth while sincerity. This one's just a quick video, right? It says Israel has misjudged Russia and Syria. The consequences could be grave, right? Stated today, Tuesday, the 10th of April, 2018, right? And hey, this headline makes you think of prophecy, because what does it say in Jeremiah? In fact, I'll just go straight into the prophecies, get straight into scriptures, right? The point there is, and I'll come back read into it as well. So Jeremiah 49:20 says, "Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their inhabitants habitations desolate with them." Right? And that's that least of the flock is talking about Israel, right? Amalek, right? They're gonna draw America out into a bigger war, right? Because right now we can see the proxy war going on in Syria at the moment, the so-called chemical attack, which may have happened, it may not have happened. You never know. It's his war, it's his propaganda, right? You don't actually know who to trust for information. All we need to know is that it's furthering the elite's agenda, and therefore our agenda, in that we're getting closer to this third world war with mark of the beast, etc., and ultimately the salvation of the children of Israel, right? So this is let me read into it now. This is Jeremiah 49:16 says, "Thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock." Right? Thou that dwellest in the so who's that talking about? Caucasians from the Caucasus Mountains, right? He's Edomites. Right? It says that holdest the height of the hill, thou that shouldest makest thy nest high as high as the eagle, right? I will bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh. Right? And that notion of eagle as well, if you read Obadiah, the first chapter, it talks about which could though thou exalt thyself like the eagle, right? So it's talking about America. You see all of their symbolism has eagles on it, right? You got the American bald eagle, right? It says, "I'll bring thee down from thence, saith Yahweh," right? And they like their habitations high, right? This is verse 17. It says, "Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof." Right? So America is going to be, desolation. It shall be completely destroyed. It says, "As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh." Right? "No man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it." Right? And that's talking about how America is going to be completely destroyed off the face of the earth. It says, "Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan against the habitation of the strong, but I will suddenly make him run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?" Right? And to read it again, it says, "Therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." So to compound the point, I was talking about them gutter rats over there, man. They're going to cause, the escalation that's going to lead us into this much bigger war. Right? It says Jeremiah 50:3. Now it says, "For out of the north," right? It's talking about Russia. Right? It says, "Out of the north there cometh up a nation against America." Right? It's talking about Russia. So you see everything that's happening right now in the Middle East, the tensions. Right? It's really a proxy war between America and her allies and Russia and her allies. Right? So for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart both man and beast. Right, reiterating the point in the last chapter in 49 about how America's going to be completely destroyed and no man's ever going to dwell there ever again. Right? Let me carry on. It's verse 9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain." Right, I was talking about these ICBM nuclear missiles. When they shot out, they're not returning. Right, because the Lord has a determination to destroy America. Right? He prophesied it. Right? And you read Isaiah 55:11. The Lord says something's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right? It says, "An Chaldea shall be a spoil, and none shall return in vain." Basically, they're all going to hit their target. Right, it says, verse 10 says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord, because you were glad, because you rejoice, all you destroyers of mine heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer and as bulls. Your mother, in reference to England, shall be sore confounded, because America came out of England. So she that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land in the desert, because of the wrath of Yahweh it shall not be inhabited. Once again, reiterating the point that America is, never going to be inhabited ever again after it's destroyed. It says, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hits all her plagues. It will be a memorial, right? Be everlasting memorial, man. Right? What happens when you do wickedly? Right? Then who's done more wickedness than Esau in America? Right? They've had all the children of Israel in slavery there. Right? Brutally. Killed a whole load, enslaved a whole load, broke treaties. Right? It says, verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Right? And that's a key point, right? Because all the nations that have nuclear missiles are going to shoot at America. Right? And that includes America's allies. That includes England. That includes France, Germany. Right? It says, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against your house. So we're all still waiting for that thing that's going to make, America's allies turn against her. Right? It says, shoot against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord, take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. Right? And the point there also in verse 14 is spare no arrows. Right? Or use all the missiles, man. Right? It says, Joel 3:9 says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come out. Right? I remember when I was first, getting an understanding of this truth, right? I was still going to the church and all of that, right? And I remember, my older brother was like, the pastor at the time, like, she's going off, right? Because she was praying for peace in the Middle East. Well, obviously, I don't go to church now, of course, just to put that out. See, you see this, bro? This is when I first come in, because, you get this truth, you don't become a Hebrew overnight, you don't just stop doing everything, it's a process, right? But Joel 3:9 says, so this woman was, this is a woman pastor at that. I was talking about peace in the Middle East, but that ain't, that ain't what the Lord has promised. That's not what the Lord wants. The Lord wants a major death and destruction in the Middle East, right? As well as talking about, prepared, all you Gentiles, prepare, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, right? This is verse 10, says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Right? Beat your plowshares into swords. Basically divert money from agriculture, etc. into military. Right? You see certain nations have done it. You got countries like India and Pakistan that have the nuke. Right? It says, and you're pruning into spear. Let the weak say I'm strong. Yeah, so you got, like I said, India and Pakistan aren't just weak countries anymore, man. Right? It says, verse 11 says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Which is Yehoshaphat in the Hebrew, the valley of the Most High's judgment. Yehoshaphat means Most High's judgment, right? Yahweh's judgment. Right, so verse 13, put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come and get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, right? So a load of people, right? And the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision, right? So basically, there's going to be a war in the Middle East, and it's going to be a great war, right? A time like never before seen on earth, as prophesied in, I believe, also Joel, the 2nd chapter, and Daniel, the 12th chapter is the one, 12:1 is the one I know off the top of my head. I believe it's also in Joel 2. Yes, Joel 2:1 and 2 says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, they hath not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations, right? Basically, once again, like I said, a precept to Daniel the 12th chapter, and talking about that point, there neither hath not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it. Because mean there's never been a day like the day of the Lord, right? The destruction that's to come, and there will never be a day like the day of the Lord that is to come, right? So this destruction going to be great, and man, I pray that I'm on the right side of it, right? In the chariots, right? You know, on the chariots, on the seed of glass mingled with fire spoken about in Revelation, right? Watching the destruction, not being a partaker, and that's it's a hope that we should all have. And Lord's will, the sincere among us will make it, right? And you got to pray that Lord's will, that you're part of that number, right? So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.